Hey everybody, welcome back to the Vibe Guide. So, this week I wanted to talk about Indigo Children. So, I'm going to give all the information that I know. I'm going to be like reading a lot of this because it's not my thing. I didn't know anything about this until like this week. So, it is fascinating and I do think I'm an indigo child. Because a lot of the things make sense, and I'm gonna get this information from a website. First of all, let me tell you how this popped into my life. So you guys know I'm into astrology, and I follow this guy. He's from England. I just found it like he just popped up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, oh, I like this guy. And I looked through a lot of his videos, and like I really appreciated how he explained a lot of the things, like because it's not very typical, like the stuff that he would say. So I found this one video and it was talking about Aquarius moons placements. And I was like, oh, well, that would be me. So if you don't know your big three, so you have a sun sign, a rising sign, or what's called an ascendant sign or rising sign, and then your moon. So those are like the big three. So it's like your rising is like what you project out into the world. It's almost like a mask, if you will. That's how he describes it of like when people first meet you, like first impressions kind of thing. So my rising is Aries. My sun sign, which is like through and through, like who you are, your personality, everything, is Sagittarius. And then my moon sign, which is like the underbelly of you, the subconscious side, like the emotional side, mine is Aquarius. So through Aquarius moons, he basically like the first thing he said was Aquarius moons, like you guys are the indigo children. And I was like, what the fuck is that? What's an indigo child? Like, what in the world? And then I immediately clicked in my brain because I've had my aura read and my aura is purple blue and she said indigo. I was like, so that like while he was saying that, that popped in my brain. I was like, oh, my aura is naturally indigo. But like at the time I had my reading done, I had like some inauthentic colors going on. So anyway, so like that popped in my brain as soon as he said that. And then he basically, like, went on to describe, like, basically, like, little aliens, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's me." I'm, like, such an alien. Like, he was basically like, "You were sent here from, like, a different planet or whatever." I don't even know if it's a planet, but, like, some higher realms. You're sent here to, like, help the world and, like, heal the world and, like, start this movement of just, like, healing the consciousness of the planet. And then basically I'm meant to like report back to like the powers that be. And I'm supposed to like tell them like what went on and like, is there a chance for these humans? Like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's fucking sick. I love that shit, man. Like, I feel like that. I feel like sometimes like I'm on another, I say this all the time. I'm like, am I on another motherfucking planet? Like, what is happening around here? Like, and I mean, I do feel like a lot of people feel that way, but like I feel that way. Like I feel like I'm from like I feel like a fucking alien. Like I really do. A lot of the times I'm like, I cannot. You know what? That's what I'm about to get a tattoo. I'm about to get like that little alien emoji. That's what I'm about to get you guys. Cause I truly like that resonates with me. Like being an alien, like I just feel like I've always been like a little weirdo or like I've never really quite fit in or like my life doesn't really look like other people's or like I have like weird shit that goes like I don't know, I just always felt very out there. Like I don't know. And like I talked to my mom about this and like read everything to her and she was like, "Okay, like yeah, like a lot of that like you were a little bit of like a." She's like, "I wouldn't say you're like a strange child, but like yeah, a lot of that stuff on that list is like very accurate like how you were." And I was like, "Okay." Cuz you know, I can only remember back so far. And I feel like those that like 1 through 5 is like really like you show a lot of like naturally who you are before the world tells you who you should be and like all these societal pressures and like parents and like siblings, like all the shit that goes on. You know, those like first few years are like tell you a lot about like how you're going to be and like I think it's like the core of who we are. And so I had to like trust my mom's like I had to trust her telling me these things because like she said like I would just wear like the craziest things and like I would say like really weird things that like were like more ahead for my time, like or like I would say things that she'd be like, "How do you know that? Like how who taught you that?" Or like, you know what I mean? And I would be like, "No one." Like these little bits of like knowledge and things like that that I would have that she's like, "How where did you get that?" Like but anyways, I'm gonna go through the whole list so like you guys can see for yourself if you're an indigo child or maybe you have an indigo child or whatever. So, very fascinating. And I will say, like, when I had my aura read, so this was back in 2017. So this is, I think, my second year in nursing school. And her name is Mystic Michaela. And I found her, she was on the Real Housewives of Orange County doing all the girls' aura. So y'all know I signed up immediately. Immediately, paid my money, got my reading. She was the first aura reading I've ever had. And she was the one that told me that my aura is purple blue, but more, it should be more indigo, but I had an inauthentic red at that time. And I think it's because I was like in nursing school, I was stressed out. Like I felt like I was, like, really stifled and, like, trapped and, like, I didn't have money to, like, go and do, and, like, money for me equals freedom, like, if I don't have money, like, I'm scared because, like, I can't just, like, take 6 months off and, like, go do what I wanna do. Like, it's very like, a world for me not to, like, be able to, like, have an abundance of money is, like, scary for me, to be honest with you, and I think that's why I've waited so long to have children and, like, get married and, like, do all the things because like, I wanna make sure, like, financially that, like, I'm always good and, like, I'm can take care of myself. So, anyways, I had the aura reading done, and then I had it done, like, 3 years later, and she said the same thing, and she said that I'm also a tricolor. So, I don't know what if that means, like, I'm blue, purple, and indigo, like, I don't know. I really don't know, but, she said tricolors are, like, a different read. They're, like, harder to read. I'm pretty sure she used the word like alien-like energy, and then this is so rich because last night I was going through my voice memos in my phone, and the very first voice memo I have was 2021, and it was like 56 minutes. And I was like, 56 minutes? Like, what was I talking about for 56 minutes? And I had recorded a psychic reading that I'd had done, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." So I listened to the whole thing and it's wild how out of touch, like, with this side of myself that I was even in 2021. Like, I was like everything she was saying was, like, going way over my head even at that time. But she said to me, like, you have, like, a very alien-like energy. Like, you're flying above a lot of people in this world." She's like, "You have a consciousness that other people do not have. And, like, other people can see that about you and, like, they think it's, like, weird." And I was like, "Whoa, okay." And, like, I've gotten this my whole life that psychics have always told me that I'm a healer, that I'm highly intuitive, and, like, I just always thought of it as, like, the blanket statement of, like, of course, they would say that, like, I'm reaching out, like, maybe I'm open or whatever, but, like, I never thought I had the capacity, like, the ability to, like, truly be intuitive and, like, channel messages for people and, like, tap into, like, other energies and, like, things like that. And I do. And so, like, listening back to things like that, just from, like, 2021, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh," like, how far I've come and, like, how much further I've stepped into my authenticity just 2 what is it, 3 years later is, like, mind-blowing to me. Like, for me to talk about this stuff on, like, a public forum, no way would that have happened 4 years ago. Like, it wasn't happening consciously for me anyway, like, wasn't really living that kinda life, I wasn't even aware, but to be, like, publicly speaking about these things, like, y'all know I really don't give a shit now. Y'all said I said I didn't give a shit before, but, like, I really don't give a shit now. So, anyways, I just thought that was, like, a really interesting and this podcast episode was about to be I was trying to make it about divine timing. I wasn't even trying to do a podcast episode about this, but the divine timing episode, I kept like hating it. Like every time I recorded it, I just kept hating it and hating it and hating it. And then I just like checked in. I asked my spirit guides, I'm like, am I supposed to do an episode about divine timing? And immediately it was like, no. And I was like, "Well, am I supposed to do an episode about Indigo Children? Because that's the only other thing that I'm, like, remotely interested in this week." And they're like, "Yes, yes, yes." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Alright. Well, then we'll talk about Indigo Children." Like, I don't know. I guess that's gonna help some people out here. I have no idea. I'm gonna try and pull up this article on my computer. I have not done this, so I'm hoping it doesn't mess up the Zoom. And sorry if you're watching me on Zoom. My nose gets so itchy when I do this, you guys. I don't know. I need to ask my spirit guides if, like, that's a thing. Like, I don't know. Because there are physical symptoms that I get. Like, if I channel for someone or if I'm meditating and I open up my third eye, I get a lot of pressure on my third eye. And then I also get tapping in my ear. Like, if it's something that's positive and something that, like, I need to keep doing or the message is really important, I get, like, this, like pressury tapping sensation in my right ear. And now I'm wondering if, like, my nose is itching, like, if that's a thing. I don't know. So, this article is from Loner Wolf. This is the same article. So, funny enough, when I was like first heard of Indigo Children, I listen sometimes. I don't really listen to her often, but sometimes I listen to the girl. She's on does she host Jeopardy now? And she used to be on The Big Bang Theory. She's actually a neuroscientist herself, and then she's also an actor. Anyway, so she has a podcast, and on her podcast, she talked about Indigo Children. I was like, okay. And she's very much like sciency brain, and like she was like into it, and like the auras and like the chakras and like all that stuff. Like, if you want to learn more about like the energetics of it and like the physics of it, she has a really good episode about like the energetics of it and like how everything has a frequency and like talking about the chakras and like very cool stuff. Like, y'all know I'm like way into that stuff. So, she has a good podcast too if you're interested in like the nerdy weird shit that I'm into. Okay. So 17 signs of an indigo child. Here we go. All right. Um I can't read it cuz I can't see it. Sorry. Okay. Um okay, sorry. I was just like reading the first little bit. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. If you possess more than half of these traits, you're likely an indigo child. Okay. Number 1. You are strong-willed. You are a passionate person who will do anything it takes to accomplish your goals or dreams. Even if other people criticize or don't support you, you still keep going no matter what. Let me tell y'all right now, that is very true. I really do not care, especially at this point. And when I started to get into like the more spirituality stuff and I had some little bumps in the road, like people wanted to like send me their opinions and s- critique me. And I'm sure people still very much do that. And it bumps up against maybe their own beliefs and like what they live by and things like that. But I'm gonna tell you what, that didn't phase me the slightest. Like, I mean, it did phase me because it was upsetting that people think that they can, I don't know, like criticize you in that matter and like think that like their beliefs are like superior to yours in a way or like trying to come across like they're worried for you or something like that. I don't know. It was just like a weird energy at that time, but it definitely did not stop me. I was just like, okay, this even proves even more of like what I am about. And like I'm about people, whatever brings you joy, like whatever gets you through this world, like as long as it's not harming other people and as long as it's not like telling other people you should do this and you shouldn't do this and like da 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 da, especially when it comes to like spirituality and religion and the things, like, I think, like, everybody can stay in their own lanes and, like, as long as it's not harmful to other people. So, yeah, I 100% am strong-willed, like, that's never been a question. You're an old soul is number 2. You feel as though you've lived many lifetimes and possess a wisdom that others your age don't have yet, which, yeah, I do feel that way. As a child, you may have behaved like an old man or woman. As an adult, you have a deeply spiritual and philosophical outlook on life, which, like, is 100% true, and, like, I remember, like, talking to my mom about this, and she was like, "It is weird, like, you would wanna, like, hang out with us, like, with the adults, like, if we were hanging out and, like, drinking wine, like, after dinner at the kitchen table, like, when my family would come in town," and She's like, "You wanted to, like, hang out with the adults, like, always. Like, you did not like, if it was like, go play Beanie Babies with your friend or, like, hang out with me and one of my friends, like, that you would rather hang out with me and one of my friends," which was, like, so weird. Is that not the weirdest shit ever? But that's how I felt. I always felt like an old soul. I always felt more mature. I always thought it's because I had 2 older brothers. So I was just, like, exposed to a lot more and, like, playing, like, toys and shit like that was boring for me, and, like, I don't know, I was just, like, always more like, I was always more advanced, like, I don't know, like, how else to say it, like, I really was, and I felt like I knew shit that, like, I shouldn't know, and I'm like, "How would I know this stuff?" And, like, I don't know. So, you're an old soul. I could see that. Number 3, you're a free thinker. No idea or belief is too holy for you to dissect or reject. You prefer to think of yourself for yourself rather than blindly following the crowd. As an indigo child, questioning is everything you do. My mom was like, Caroline, the amount of questions that came out of your mouth was like, I'd never seen anything like it. And I am like still that way. I will question everything. Like, I don't bel like, I am, what that means, like, I am never gonna follow anything blindly. Like, especially when it comes to, like, this spirituality stuff, like, just because someone says something to me, it doesn't matter. Like, I always have to do my own research. I always form my own opinions about things. Like, I always do. I never just go with like, "Oh, so and so said like this happens and like da da da." Like, okay, and like until it happens for me or like I get it, like I'm not going with it. Like I'm very open too. Like I'm extremely open to like other people's ideas and whatever, but like I'm definitely a questioner. Definitely a questioner. I'm always like, I don't know. I'm always just like, "But why?" I think it's, like, so exhausting, like and I know kids like that, and I'm just like, it's so exhausting as an adult, and they'll be like, "But why? But how? But why? But why?" You're like, "Oh my god, just because." Like, I don't know. So, yeah, I definitely think I'm a little out there, so free thinker fits right in there. You're a headstrong nonconformist. As a child or teenager, you may have been thought of as naughty or obnoxious. I'm like, obnoxious? Yes. Disobedient and contrarian. I'd say contrarian for sure. As an adult, you cannot stand being boxed in or controlled by others. 1000%. As a headstrong nonconformist, you prefer to find your own truth and forge your own path. This could not be me more than anything. Like, out of all of it, you're never going to box me in and control me. Like, never. Never in a million motherfucking years is someone gonna box me in? And it's a damn good thing I live in the United States of America, because if I lived in any other country, and I'm not gonna name any names, but some of these countries out here, I would be dead. I would be dead. Literally, I would be dead because I would just run my mouth. I would wear whatever the fuck I wanted to wear. Oh my gosh. Like a headstrong nonconformist. Like I just never thought of myself that way, but like reading this stuff, I'm just like, damn, like it is so true. I'm always gonna forge my own path. Like, I've never questioned, like, I've never like, sure, living where I live and, like, everyone's lives, like, eerily seems to be very similar, like, to me, and, like, it kind of freaks me out. Like, no offense to anyone, like, I'm serious, no offense, like, it's fine. Everyone's lives are as they should be. But, like, I've always felt like I have, like, a very different path in life, very different journey, like and it was difficult, like, growing up in a small town where everyone seems to follow the same, like, trajectory, like, a lot of the times. And so I had to say, like, a lot I question that sometimes of, like, "Well, why can't I just be, like, married with kids? Like, why? Like, why can't I just have a house?" And, like but I know that I'm just meant for, like, a totally different type of situation. Like, I don't think that's not to say that's not gonna happen for me, but, like, I could always tell that, like, I was not gonna be like everybody else, so, yeah, very interesting. Number 5, you're a passionate truth seeker. This you guys, I cannot even tell you, like, just reading these, I'm just like, "Oh my god." It cannot be me more than to a T. Like I truth to you is of primary importance. You are always seeking to distinguish the truth and reality from lies and deception. You are around others. When you are around others, you can immediately tell when someone is lying or hiding something. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Please ask anyone in my life. I will call a motherfucker out in 2.5 seconds. It hits me so quickly when an energy shifts, when an energy change, when someone's lying, when someone's hiding something, when somebody just gets a little weird, even for like a split second about something, I'm all over it. All over it. And I've always been that way. I've always been that way. Someone's energy gives me weird vibes. And I remember doing this in high school, and I remember telling one of my best friends, I was like, "I don't like that girl. Don't have her. I don't want her around me. I don't trust her. I don't like the way she moves. I don't like the way she operates. Something's off. I don't like it." What do you know? Slept with her boyfriend. Okay? So, let me tell you what, I called it from the jump. From the jump, 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 jump. Okay? And that was like when I was like 16. Okay? Like I don't know. I've always I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It says, "Although the truth hurts, you honor it above all else." Y'all know I run my mouth, like, and I've had to reel it in. I think that's part of being a Sag though too. But I've had to reel that in because, like, I really can, like, cut a bitch, like, bad. And like, sometimes I don't mean to, but, like, I don't know. You would prefer to suffer from the truth than be happy believing lies. You guys, I am jealous of people who can just go about their life and, like, ignore everything and, like, "Oh, la da 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 da," everything's like their husband's cheating on them, and they're just like, "Whatever, it's all good. He's here though tonight, so da da da." Like, I would rather have someone rip my heart out, stomp on it, and all the other things than go on living one more second of some bullshit lied kinda life. I cannot ignore anything. If something is on my heart, on my mind, like it's coming out, like if I try and stifle it down, it's just going to blow up and explode. Like passionate truth seeker is so real for me. And I just never thought of it that way. Like I never even thought to like say I'm a passionate truth seeker. The truth is extremely important to me. It's extremely important to me. I don't like to be lied to. I don't like for people to try and think they can get one over on me, like, which I don't think anybody does, but, like, I'm never just gonna sit back and, like, allow it to happen. Never. Never in a million years. Never, never, never. Number 6, you're perceptive and intelligent. You can see and understand things about humanity and life that most other people don't perceive. Your keen perceptions allow you to discover the truth about the human condition and how to ultimately help. So that's cool, yeah. I feel I'm like a smart gal. Like I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like above average or anything, but very perceptive. Very, very, very perceptive. I think that's helped me a lot in life and like traveling and like I can tell when something's off immediately. Like I can there's so many examples I can tell from this, like especially traveling like yeah. Unless there was alcohol involved. I have to say, ladies, alcohol lowers your vibration and it also lowers people have gotten over on me from alcohol. That's the only time people have gotten one over on me, and I haven't been able to, like, see it for what it is immediately. If I was drinking, people could get one over on me. But if I wasn't drinking and I was in my, like, clear mind and I'm good, like, no one was getting one over on me at all. I think there were definite situations where I allowed it to go on and I allowed it to happen because I was just, like, in a different like, I'm not who I am now, but, like, did I call people out and, like, bring it to their attention? Yeah, but, like, did I still allow it to happen in, like, certain behaviors and stuff like that? Yeah. But, it's not like that I didn't understand what was going on or that I didn't perceive it or that I didn't know. You know what I mean? So, I had a little blip of time where I definitely allowed people to, like, treat me a certain way, and then, like, I would just, argue and argue and argue about it, and then but just, like, continue to let it happen, and, like, that was, like, a really unhealthy point in my life, so just FYI. hi, ladies, watch your drinking because it lowers your perception and you might not be able to use your woman's intuition and see a motherfucker for exactly who they are. Okay. Number 7, you're highly intuitive. Yes. Your keen perception also makes you highly intuitive. You can often intuit the best course of action as well as know things about others that are secret or hidden. I don't know what it is. And I also do think people just come to me and like immediately want to tell me like their whole life story, like the deepest, darkest shit in their life. Like, I don't know what that is. Like, that happens to me a lot. Number 8, you want to change the world, deepen your heart. I don't know about this one. This one, I'm like, maybe my little corner of the world, sure, but like, I don't know about the whole world. Deep in your heart, you feel a driving force to create positive change on this planet. As an indigo child, you know that your destiny is to be a paradigm changer, destroyer. Okay, I do kind of feel like that. I actually do kind of feel like that. This strong sense of purpose forms an axis of your decisions. Whatever is not aligned with your inner sense of purpose quickly dissolves in favor of soul based decisions. So, yeah, I do think like what I'm doing right now, like changing the paradigm, like you don't have to be like this. You don't have to live your life like only thinking your way through things and like only using your brain and like barely bringing in any emotions. Like, I think the opposite is better. Like, I think feelings first, brain second. I feel like it's a bit and I feel like I don't even feel like maybe I am, like, I don't know, at this age of Aquarius, like, maybe it is the big picture, like, maybe I am tripping, like, I don't know, because I do feel like there is going to be, like, a massive paradigm change, like, I feel like these kids coming up, like, the Gen Z and, like, even younger, like, they're way more tapped in, like, than any of us were, like, way more tapped into, like, their emotions and their feelings and, like because I feel like the consciousness of the earth is, like, moving towards that. So, I don't know, like, I do think that is a big paradigm shift. I don't so maybe I am here to change the whole world, the whole world. Number 9, you're empathetic and compassionate. Most of the time. Sometimes, no. You care so much about this planet and other people that it often hurts. Okay, that is true. Every time you see or hear violence, destruction, or cruelty, you feel sorrow and anger. So true. Like, it's like devastation. It's like beyond sorrow. Your high level of empathy and compassion means that you struggle with anxiety or depression. I definitely had depression growing up. Um, my mom, I remember wanting to put me on anxiety medication, and I remember my dad like freaking out. My dad was like, "Absolutely not. Like, no way is she being put on that." And like also like kudos to my dad because like who knows what that would have done like if I had gotten put on like Lexapro at like 16. Like, maybe I don't know, because I feel like it kinda dulls a lot of things. Not saying that some people don't need these medications, like, not at all, but I think mine was, like, situational, and, like, thank God, like, I found my way out of that life, like, I think I would very much so be depressed if I didn't have a spiritual awakening and, like, open up that side of myself, but, I think, like, taking medications like that, it can be just a mask, and it doesn't like, I do think things like this are curable because I cured myself, so I think, like, chemical imbalance in, like, your brain, sure, but, like, I think that we can do things to get things back in balance. Like, I don't think our body, like, wants to be out of balance, so I think that me figuring out how to get my body back into balance, and for me, that was, like, balancing out my actual, like, mind and heart, like, balancing out the 2 and not just living in one part, like, not just living in my brain. I felt like that probably changed the chemistry in my brain too. It probably, you know, made things more even keel. So, I don't know, like, it's just interesting, like, if I would have taken anxiety medication for those times when I did feel anxious and depressed, like, I probably would have just, like, masked it all and, like, maybe not had, like, this deep awakening and, like so I don't know. So it's kinda like kudos to my dad for being like, "Hell no, she's not going on that." Like, no. So, I don't know, maybe he knew something I didn't know. But it's very true, like, seeing the violence and destruction, which I know, like, it affects everyone, like, let's be real, like but for me, it just, like, really it, like, truly I just cry so much, like, it just makes me so upset. I can't even watch the news, like, the day-to-day news, like, everything that's going on in Gaza, like, it truly is so upsetting to me, and it's just such a disappointment, I think, for, like, the human race, like, it just lingers on me as, like, such a disappointment, like, you're not gonna get anywhere, like, with this, like, you're just creating more hate and more anger and more sadness and, you know, it's just creating a bigger circle of just mess, and I as you can tell and, like, understand, like, which side of things I'm on, I guess you could say, which is terrible to even say because I don't think there are sides. I think we're all fucking human. But it really upsets me and I have to limit it because it's so it does make me extremely angry that people just don't get it and they just are letting their own egos and like their own oh god, just like 3D stupid ass human versions of themselves, like do all this like destruction and awfulness. And then you know what else I feel like in those situations? Like what about the animals? Like I always think of the animals and it just like I'm done. Like when it comes to that, when I see an animal that's like been like hurt by like something going on because humans are just disgusting, I'm like literally I'm over. I just want to like I'm just like, "Take me off this earth, like, take me off, like, I don't even wanna be here, y'all are disgusting, like, how could you treat an animal that way?" Like, it literally fires me up like nothing I've ever seen in my life, like, it makes me so upset, you guys, like, I cannot stomach it, I really can't. It makes me so upset. So, I mean, I literally was outside, like, 2 days ago feeding a bee sugar water, like, on a spoon, and my mom was like, "Caroline, you are seriously, like, on another level." And I was like, "Mom, this bee is, like, struggling." She's like, "Caroline, they die though, like, they don't live very long." And I was like, "Well, I don't know, like, it might just be from all the fucking pesticides around here and, like, coulda rolled up on a flower that had pesticides or something on it, and maybe it's, like, out of it. Like, let me try and help it." And then I put it on a flower because I was like, "You know what? If it does die, like, at least it'll die, like, on a flower." So I put it on a flower, and the next morning I came out and it died. And I did cry. I actually did. I had, like, a couple little tears, and I was like, "I hope it went to bee heaven," and so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like for me, that's not weird. Like, I feel like everyone's that way, but, like, everyone is definitely not that way, and that's clear by, like, the state of the world. So, there you go. Much harder for me to have empathy and compassion for human beings, as you can tell. Like, I just human beings are just, like, the ick for me. Probably because 'cause I'm an alien, and where we're from, you guys, we don't act like this. Okay, number 10, we're almost there. You're a change-making leader. Fascinating. Since you were little, you were always gravitated towards leadership. Not true. You may find it hard to work in teams or for other people and function better when you're in charge or working for yourself. That's true. You find it difficult to obey authority. That's true. Particularly when authority is corrupt, illogical, or outdated. That's very true. Like, you won't catch me working for anyone like that at all. You want to offer better, wiser, and healthier ways to live, making you destined to be a spiritual elder. Thank you, spiritual elder, coming to you live. I can't say that, like, since I was little, I was, like, gravitated towards leadership. Like, absolutely. I was like, "I wanna be in the back. I don't care." Like, just no, I don't wanna be in a leadership role. I think the first leadership role I've actually ever taken truly, like, besides, like, little shit, in college and, like, group work and whatever, but was this nursing position that I'm in now. And I find it very natural, and I do find that it is a good fit for me, surprisingly. And I don't know, and other people tell me that. So it's like I get that from other people because sometimes it's hard to know yourself. Like, I'm like, am I doing a good job? Like, I don't know. But, it's like when I'm not there, like people wish I was there and people flat out tell me like you're a really good leader and like you have very good leadership qualities and like you're really good at your job. And so I don't know. And I also just do feel like in general, like I just kind of do my own thing. But the difficult to obey authority, let me tell y'all right now. Oh my gosh, that is really something. That's a big problem I've had. Big problem. Particularly when authority is corrupt, illogical, or outdated. Like, I have had some run-ins with some nursing managers. I've been wanting to call the director of the hospital myself, like, oh my good God. Like, don't even get me started on the healthcare of it all because how corrupt and awful it is and like how it's just for money and ooh, not about the patients anymore. And I've had a very difficult time. Like, I can't stand that. Like, I really can't stand that. And I've gotten in verbal altercations like many a time with authority figures. I could care less what they think at all. And let me tell y'all, it even goes back to we had our beach week in high school and we went to Nag's Head, like most of the kids around here do. And we had a house full of like 20 kids. And obviously, like, we're good kids. Like, we had like the valedictorian, the salutatorian, like, we're all graduated high school. We're just like trying to have fun, whatever. Like, we're 18. Like, in Europe, we could be drinking legally. Like, America's so silly. 21, really? So we're like in a house all together. Their parents are down the road. Like, they're not stupid. Like, they were like, well, we're not buying you anything, but like, if you, however you guys get it, whatever, like, do, live your life, do your thing. Like, just don't get caught. Okay, we got caught. We were just like partying and like we got caught and we had like loads of alcohol. And I remember this one police officer. It was like the house had like 4 levels, and so there were so many of us that, like, people just hid and, like, they didn't get tickets because there were so many of us and it was chaotic, and they were like, "Police are here," and, like, everyone was, like, fucking running everywhere. If you could have taken the roof off that house and seen, like, it would have been, like, the funniest shit ever, like, people running past each other, like, 3 times, people hiding beer and, like, oh my gosh, like, it was just an absolute it was just comical. And so I remember, like, I was like, "Fuck it, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll get a ticket. Like, I'm not a bad kid. Like, I'm literally just having fun. Like, whatever." So, the police officer comes in and he's like, one of them is like a younger guy, and he was like super aggressive towards my friend. And should I call out Ashby? I'm gonna call out Ashby. Ashby is like this sweet, kind, gentle, quiet soul. She's like works at a library now. She is like literally, she just minds her business. For Ashby to be on this trip and like drinking and like living it up, like that's so unlike her and like whatever. So once we got in trouble, like, and Ashby, I don't think has ever been in trouble in her life. So once we got in trouble, she like literally was like so upset and like freaking out and like crying on the floor and like, oh my God, what are my parents? Like she was like visibly like distraught and like super upset and like scared. And I remember seeing this police officer, like, in her face, yelling at her, being like, "Oh my god, what was he asking her? Like, where the alcohol is or something like that? Or, oh, who did you get the alcohol from? Who did you get the alcohol from?" Yelling in her face, and I, like, went right up to him. I'm like this 18-year-old, like, I don't know who I think I am, and I'm like, "Who do you think you're talking to? Like, why are you yelling at her like that? Like, I'm fine. Like, I'll talk to you. I'll tell you where the fuck I got the alcohol." Like, was, like, right in his grill, like, I was pissed. I was like, "Do not fucking treat my friend like that, you piece of shit." Like, turned up, okay? And I don't even think I had really been drinking. I think I maybe I don't know, like, I don't even think it was, like, alcohol induced. Like, I think I was just, like, fired up. I was like, "Don't you ever speak to my friend like that." Like, clearly, she like, we are all here and capable of talking, and, like, you wanna pick on somebody who's, like, visibly so upset. Like, what a fucking coward you are, you literal asshole. So he pulls me outside and like starts questioning me and like asking me all these stupid questions. And I was like, "Do you really think I'm an idiot? Like, I'm not going to tell you where I got this alcohol. Actually, you want to know where I got this alcohol? Go find the homeless guy down at the gas station who I paid off to like go get me alcohol. That's who I got it. If you want to go down there, it's that gas station down on the corner. That's who I got," which was a complete lie, but like, whatever. But you guys talk about issues with authority. Like, I, especially when they're corrupt, illogical, or outdated, like, I mean, fire. Like, it makes me so angry. I cannot stand that. Like, I can even think back to, like, when I was in middle school, and I remember I had a teacher. She was She was my biology teacher, and she was also, like, this stupid elective, which I don't even know how I got put into it. It was, like, making machines or whatever, and it was, like, Legos, and, like, you had to put them together from a diagram. It was like watching paint dry for me, like, I hated every second of it, I wasn't good at it. I never finished one of those, and, like, I literally think I, like, failed the class. But she was so nasty to me, and I would always ask her for help because I'm not used to, like, not being good at things. Like, I can do anything, I'm average at anything. Like, average student, average sport player, like, I can do anything. Like, I'm pretty decent at most things, like, decent, okay? So, I could have definitely put some fucking Legos together if, like, I would have had a little bit of guidance. But she didn't wanna give me guidance. She wanted to come around with her little number 2 pencil with her fungus toes and, like, sorry, that was inappropriate, I shouldn't have said that, sorry. Anyways, but she wanted to come around, poke at my little, thing that I'd started to put together with her little number 2 pencil and be like, "Well, Caroline, if you were this piece, where would you go?" And I'm like, "Okay, that's not helpful. Like, what do you mean?" Like, I'm looking at the diagram like, "I don't get it. Like, you need to help me." Like, "Huh?" So, we did not click, and I remember basically my mom had to come in. She's the only teacher I've ever had an issue with in my entire life. My mom had to come in and have, like, a come to Jesus with me and her. She called my mom in, I should say, because like, I pretty much was like, "Fuck you." I'm pretty sure I said the F you to her. It was like, "You're a terrible teacher. You have no business being a teacher." And, yeah, I think they called my mom in. And I got in big doo-doo. But yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's just who I am. Spiritual elder right here. Oh my god, this stuff is so funny, and, like, thinking back and, like, oh my god. Like, I really do have a problem with authority. Or, like, somebody trying to tell me what to do. No way. Not happening. Okay, number 11, you're idealistic. You have high expectations for yourself and other people. While idealism can be a positive trait, it can also carry disadvantages such as being overly critical or demanding. Nonetheless, your idealism is what helps you strive for the highest and to do the absolute best you can for the planet. Okay, I don't know. Idealistic. Yeah, maybe. Number 12, you have loner, autonomous personality. Like, literally, I haven't spoken to anyone all weekend, and I'm totally fine. Oh, that is so funny. As a free spirit, you don't like to be held down by anyone or anything. Here we go again. You find it difficult to be around too many people at once. Yes. And often prefer to spend time in your own company. As a lover of autonomy, you also enjoy solitude and the insight that it can bring. 1000%. How many trips have I taken by myself? And it's been the best trips of my life. Like, I do everything by myself. Sometimes it's lonely, like, I'm not gonna lie, but, like, a lot of the time I enjoy it, and I think it's great. So, yeah, that's for sure me. Number 13, you're highly creative. Am I highly creative? I wish I was more creative. I always say that. Your nonconformist brain loves to express itself through art and creativity, whether it be drawing, dancing, singing, building, painting, writing, or crafting. You love creative self-expression. That is true. I mean, I do love it. Am I very good at it? No, but, like, I do love being creative, so maybe that's what that means. I don't know. I do paint, and I do a lot of crafts and, like, jewelry and things like that. I like the mode that I get into. It's like a very calm mode. I loved art class when I was growing up, like, loved art class. That was, like, my personal heaven. Like, when everybody would come in the classroom, everybody would be like, "Blah, blah, blah," putting their bags down, finally get settled. You get your artwork back out that you've been working on, and then all of a sudden in, like, 10 minutes, it's, like, this quiet zone. And, like, no one's talking, and, like, everyone's focused on their art, and, like, everyone's just, like, zoned in, and then, like, the teacher would put on a little bit of music in the background, like, oh my all I needed was some snacks. If I would've had some snacks, heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. Okay, number 14, you have a strong connection with nature and animals. Yes, that's for sure true. As an empathic and compassionate person, you gravitate towards the natural world. You feel most at home when you're near the ocean or surrounded by trees and animals. Nature is so pure and grounding that you find it a welcome break from the pretension of humanity. Oh, that's so true. It's so true. I think most people love nature in general, but like I do feel like very connected to it. I don't know. I really do. Okay, number 15. You're drawn towards spirituality over religion. Hello. Hello. To you, spirituality is falling in love with the message, and religion is is loving the messenger. Oh, that's deep. That's good. Okay, wait, I never thought of it like that. Like that's true. Interesting. Okay. As an indigo child, you're drawn towards truth in its purest form, not diluted by dogma or fundamentalist teachings. Now that's on point. It can be a little tough. It can be a little tough living where I live. It can be a little tricky. Okay, number 16. You struggle with boredom. Who was I just talking to the other day? And I was like, you know what? I don't mind this job, but I swear to God, I'm bored. I literally just said that the other day. Because of your sharp and inquisitive mind, you tend to struggle with routine and conventional structures. So true, man. As a result of your tendency to get bored easily, you may have been misdiagnosed with ADD or ADHD as a child. That's not true. I was not like that. I wasn't like that. No. But I definitely get bored easy. And I think that's why I change so much. I think that's why I travel so much. I think that's why I'm just like here, there, and I'm into like making jewelry one day, and then I'm into like yoga the next day, and then I'm into painting the next day, and then I'm into like clay and pottery, and like I'm into like all the things all the time because I do get bored really easily. And the struggle is real. Like, you struggle with boredom. I do struggle. Like sometimes it's so annoying. I'm like, can I be into something for longer than like 5 seconds? Like, damn. But I do. I just get bored. I don't know what to tell you. Number 17. Last one. You're prone to experiencing existential angst. The fuck does that mean? Existential anxiety and depression go far beyond usual anxiety and depression. And this is because it is more concerned with life itself than the self. Oh. Okay. As an indigo child, you tend to ask questions such as, why do we suffer? Oh my God, I say that all the time, especially like with what's going on. And what is the meaning of life? Why is there injustice? Or why was I born? Such deep philosophical questions can cause you to lose interest in the meaningless pursuits carried out by the majority of humanity. Yeah. Oh my God, I struggle so hard with like the day in and day out stuff. Like I really do. Oh man, that's really interesting. I do struggle so bad with that. Cause I'm like, why am I doing like this? Like, why? Like, why? When there's like such bigger things in life. And like, oh my gosh, that is like truly, truly true. Okay. Other potential traits of indigo children include tendency towards addiction and numb feelings. Yeah, I could say that. Yeah. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Seeking only loyal friendships. Very true. Proud and bossy. I don't think I'm bossy. Maybe I am. My mom would probably say I'm bossy. So yeah, sure, bossy, proud and bossy. Fiery tempered, yes. More sensitive to environmental and food pollutants. Wasn't I just talking about this with the naturopathic doctor? I think that's my PCOS. I think it's environmental pollutants. I think that's why I have it. Spiritual gifts such as clairvoyance or telepathy. So yes. So interesting, you guys. And then it goes on to share like tips for indigo children. Try and stay grounded, try practicing mindful breathing, practice meditation each day, practice emotional acceptance. Like this is all stuff that like I've literally had to do like the past 3 years, and like since I've done it, my life has been so much better, you guys. Familiarize yourself with the spiritual awakening process and how it's linked to existential depression. Hello. Creatively express yourself and your visionary ideas. You may even like to try practice such as automatic writing to help you get in touch with your soul. I do morning pages every day where I just don't think about anything. I write exactly what comes down on the piece of paper. That's what I do. Regularly spend time in nature to unwind and regain balance. I need to be better about this because sometimes, especially now that it's summer and it's so hot out, I find it kind of difficult to like get outside. Um, Gosh, so fascinating, you guys. Like that hit for me like on every single thing. And I didn't even read the very end of it. So, or like the tips to for you to stay like for indigo children, which I think is so interesting because like all those things that they listed are things that I've started doing in the past 3 years. And the past 3 years of my life has been so I've just felt so much more peace and so content and like so like that existential like angst that they're talking about. Like I haven't had that. And like that is so true. Like I didn't have, like, regular depression. So, like, maybe I didn't really have, like, a chemical imbalance, but, like, I did have, like, existential, like, depression, like, angst, like, "What is the meaning of all this? Like, why am I waking up and doing, like, this stupid job every day? Like, there's gotta be more than this, and it's making me depressed because I don't know what's more." Man, wow, you guys, that's really cool. So, I definitely am an indigo child. I have literally all of those, and I had my mom to back it up, so I just think it's so interesting. So I hope I'm doing my little piece. I feel like I'm just now truly getting into my purpose and like why I'm here and like helping people. And like, I want to say thank you to everyone that sends me messages. And like, truly, I had no idea starting this. Like, it was my intention to like really help people share what I had gone through and like share like where my life was and like how I got to where I am now and like feeling so much more peaceful and content and just like a lot of the things that I've learned along the way and like opening myself up to being like my authentic self and to being intuitive and to not being afraid of like sharing my psychic gifts and like I just am who I am. And the messages of love and like, reciprocation, I guess, like that I get where what I'm doing is actually working. It's been the most gratifying and fulfilling experience of my life. Far succeeds anything I've ever done in nursing. Like getting those messages from you guys and, like, me loving what I'm doing and, like, sharing this podcast gives me so much joy and brings me so much happiness in my life, and then to have it reach you guys and, like, be helpful of like, in any kind of capacity is, like, the whole point, and then when you guys tell me that and, like, share that information with you, it's just, like, this, like, beautiful circle of, like, how energy in the world should go, like, we should be doing things that, like, we love and enjoy and, like, that we're really good at and that, like, light us up and like bring purpose into our life because when we're in this state and we're truly find our passion in life and our purpose, like you can't help but radiate that and like give that good energy back into the world, and then when you give it out you get it back. And so this has just been like a really fun journey, and I feel like finding this little like indigo children like article and like having that be plopped in my life, I was like, whoa, okay, like it kind of came full circle for me. So I just thought I would share it. So maybe you guys are indigo children. If you are, like, please DM me because I will die. I don't want to be the only one out here that's an alien all by myself. And I know I'm not. I know I'm not. And I know the people that listen to this, like, it's a little bit of a niche podcast, like spirituality and all the things that I talk about. So I know there's got to be like some other indigo peeps out there. So let me know if any of this resonates with you guys. And as always, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Lots and lots and lots of love. And we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.